stuff going here. Make sure everybody can hear me okay. Let me check audio. Microphone should be good. Speakers. There we go. All right. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining. I'm going to get started right away. In essence, for someone that's planning for AEP, end of AEP, and the transition through December into OEP for January 1st, is really an important transition period if you want to have a very successful OEP and rest of year next year, as well as have an awesome or even better AEP next year. Really, the planning starts now, and the processes and systems that you implement now are going to determine the trajectory of your success path and the arc that you're going to take on that path. So today is really about a few different things. I want to give you what I would call my processes, or my process once the annual enrollment period ends. And it's important to have a process. It's important to have a plan for each segment of the year. I would break it down into quarters. And so as we end the final quarter, end of AEP, we have this 3.5, 4 week period where we transition. And so the first thing you got to do is take a breath. Okay. So you want to take a breath, take a deep breath, take a break, take a vacation, recharge your batteries in ways that you know how that works well for you. So you want to start with taking a break, and build that in. If you around the holidays, the new year, whatever you want to do, but make sure you get time off. That's number one. Number two, make sure you're double checking all of the applications for your AEP election period business. So it's important for this time of year that you're double checking all the applications, make sure they've gone through correctly, make sure there's no lingering, and make a list of the applications, if there are any, that have not gone through, and make sure you're babysitting those, because it's very important to have that happen. Also, you want to, once you've verified all the applications and you have your hot list, you're going to start doing calls. And so we do quarterly calls in my office. I'd recommend you do quarterly calls to all your clients. As you get going, it can get more difficult to get everybody on the same page. And so you have two categories when it comes to post AEP leading up to OEP. You have the category of a new client, and you have the category of current clients that did not make a change. I also add a subcategory for myself, which is current clients that did make a change. So you have new changes, and current no changes. And in reality, you want to start getting people into those three lists. Once you have the three lists compiled, you start calling, and start with the new people, new application, new to you. Those people you need to really solidify the relationship. If to have long-term retention requires you to be dialed in when it comes to that. So you really want to be dialed in to staying on the pulse. And in the beginning of the relationship, it's really important that you stay on top of things. If you think of friendships and relationships you've had, both successful and unsuccessful ones, the unsuccessful ones normally have some kind of rivet and commonality in that somebody didn't communicate effectively, or just didn't have the right chemistry, that kind of thing. But a lot of times it's that communication. And so in the very beginning of the process to making a client part of your family, part of your customer base, part, whatever you're going to call that, part of that process needs to be a few opportunities and touches. Touches mean a phone call. Touch could mean a postcard. Touch could mean a letter. Touch could mean a text message. Touch could mean dropping by and saying hi. Having those touches are very, very important to the long-term success of how things are going to go for you. So the biggest piece of advice I can give somebody when it comes to calling the clients, call the new ones first. What we want to do is, when we call them, we want to ask if they have any questions about 2023. Not questions about their coverage, just generic questions about 2023. Then we transition into questions about any questions about your coverage for 2023, and just reiterate, offer an opportunity to go back through the summary of benefits again. Again, if I can, I want to go through the summary of benefits on some level 3 or 4 times with a client before they become active, or through the process of them being active in the first month or two. So I want to make sure they don't have any questions. I'm also going to make sure, have you received your ID card? Have you received all the documentation? Have you received the evidence of coverage? Have you received your welcome kit? Have you received anything else? You want to help them learn, especially as a new client to you, help them learn how to filter the mail. And so one thing that I do that's really, really effective is every piece of mail that goes out of my office has a fish sticker on it. And so what I mean by that, I carry around in my wallet my business cards. In there is examples that I show people when I'm in the home. This is what you want to look out for on your mail that I send you. You should see a fish sticker every single time. And so I train and build that into the clientele. Okay. Third thing you want to do is you want to have an in-force call set up. I prefer for all new clients, instead of a call, the in-force appointment is a face-to-face appointment again, especially if I haven't met them face-to-face yet. But primarily, I try to do everything face-to-face up until they're my current client, and then we can give them dealer's choice. But to really build a good relationship, that's normally done face-to-face. And so that's really where you want to focus on. Okay, so now we want to approach and find out, do they have any questions about anything else at all? Do they need help with anything else? And then each year I pick a different product. This year for myself, I'm picking life insurance. And so what I want to do, I need personally, I need a new referral partner who does estate planning, wills, and trusts. And so for me to find that referral partner, it's best to come to the table with an offering first, basically with a referral to them first. And so what I do is I take an opportunity to go through and ask my clients, do you currently have life insurance? Okay. If they do, great. What type? How old is it? How long ago did you buy it? When is the last time that you either updated your will or your trust? And so I go right into that question secondly. And I don't even go back to the life insurance. It's really about the will and the trust this first time around for me. So what I'm going to do now is, as I go through my current book of business and my current new clients, I'm asking them all this life insurance question. And what I really want to find out is who has a will and trust, who doesn't, who needs one, who needs to update one. And I want to have this list. Basically, I'm bringing a list of clients like a dream. I'm a dream referral partner walking into what I try to find is the best when it comes to an attorney partner. So again, if you show up and I'm able to say, hey, I've got 42 clients that need a will or trust. Are you looking for new clients? Because I'm looking for a good referral partner. And if you're coming to the table with 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 clients for them, number one, they're going to get excited. Number two, they're going to, if they accept, they're going to feel an obligatory pressure to reciprocate, and you should get referrals back. And now here's the key part of it. So why do I not go back into life insurance and I really just focus on the wills and the trust? Because if you do this correctly and you have somebody who needs a will or trust, having the lawyer on the will or trust side of it help you explain why life insurance is important can make that process so much easier to do. So again, what type of life insurance? How old is it? When did you buy it? So I'm going over those things. Okay. The second part of the phase that I want to look at, everybody asks me all the time, what about leads? What about leads? What about leads? Now here's what I'll say again. This program that I run and I teach, and the people on my team, the program they run, is a program that long term is designed where leads don't really become part of the equation, where leads aren't needed, where leads are only if you want to. So I personally don't like leads. However, we can generate them, we can run them, I can work them, all that kind of thing. I just like a more efficient use of my time. So if you were going to do leads, what you want to do is start setting those lead drops up now. What I mean by setting them up is contacting your lead vendor, whoever you use, and creating a plan of attack. And I would plan 1 quarter at a time. And what I mean by plan 1 quarter at a time is choose, and this is the exact dates, exactly how I would do it to a T. if it were me trying to turn myself into a Medicare machine from scratch again, this is what I would do if I was starting right now. I just got out of AEP. I would make my phone calls. I would call the lead vendors. I would set up two types of drops. Oh, three types of drops, really. One is turning 65. I'd never stop doing turning 65. It's a perpetual thing. Every month I'm doing a lead drop. Every month I'm doing a seminar, which is another point I'll get to in a minute. I would set up for those lead drops to go out on January 2nd, February 2nd, and February 15th. So that would be my first three lead drops of the first quarter. I would wait and not do a March drop. The March drop would actually be targeting something else. Okay. So the two drops I would do again are T65 and low income. T65, I would do the same time every month, month after month after month. The low income, I would again do January 2nd, February 2nd, February 15th. What you want to do with the low income is you have to go into it understanding it's a highly saturated market and your return's probably going to be lower than you want. And so you got to be ready to take advantage of whatever opportunities you get. But you really want to get the duplicate copy of the list when you're doing a drop. So always ask, I want a duplicate copy of the list that we're mailing to. That gives you a marketing list that you can send additional mail drops to on your own with a handwritten letter, with postcards. Basically, it gives you data that you can now work and prospect with. Because that's really what your big problem is when you're building yourself from ground zero to a Medicare machine, is you just need prospects. You need people to sit in front of. You need people to talk to. And if until you have those mature referral relationships developed and built, you're relying heavily on either leads or sweat equity, cash to create leads, or sweat equity, or if your upline gives you leads, that's a good thing too. But if you're doing your own lead drops, which I would recommend, even if you're having leads given to you, I would still learn the skill of doing a lead drop, understanding the timing of things, understanding how to work the lead once you generate it, and actually working the lead when it's generated. Being on top of it right away. Don't wait a day or two. Don't assume that you shouldn't call them. Call them like the very moment you see the card. Drop whatever you're doing and take the opportunity to take the opportunity. And so don't give up. Don't just call once. Don't just do that. You really want to be consistent and persistent in your efforts. And you want to be on that fine line of not harassing, but staying persistent and consistent. Having value to follow up with. Each time you leave a voicemail, leave another tip, leave another tactic, leave another anything to give them more and more crumbs until you go, okay, you want the whole cookie? You've got to figure out where their line is and where they're going to trust you. Okay. So lead drops, if you're going to do them, don't do it now. So don't let a lead vendor talk you into doing a drop between now and December 31st. It'll hit the wrong time. People aren't going to pay attention to it. It'll get buried under the holidays, and it'll never see the light of day. And so you'll waste a lot of money doing a lead drop in December. If you're going to do one in December, it needs to be the first couple of days. Basically, before AEP is over, you need to be hitting the mail so that by the time AEP is over, it hits mailboxes. But frankly, I've found because of the saturation of AEP, it usually overlaps into the post AEP period a little bit. And so, for me, I have learned over the years that mailed lead drops don't really work during a post AEP, pre OEP. But again, I would set one up and I would have it ready to go. Low income drop January 2nd, February 2nd, February 15th. Turning 65 drops, I would do just basically the beginning of the month each month. And each month you're adding another month on the back end of the scope that you're doing. So I usually pick 3 to 6 months of period of time. So people that are turning 65 between, like right now, if I was doing a drop for January, I would do turning 65s between April and September. So I would probably pick a 5 or 6 month period, and I would pick the areas that I would want to work. And you might have to adjust those things. For me, I have to do a wider scope because in my area, I don't have as many people turning 65 every month. You have to analyze your area to find out what are the numbers, how many people are turning 65 in my county every month in the areas that I'm targeting. And you might have to adjust how big of a swath that your net has to hit. So what I mean by that, again, let's say you want to hit 3,000 people, and there's only 1,000 people between April and July that are turning 65 in your area. So you might have to take that out instead of July, do April to September, April to October, and take that zone out as big as it needs to be so that your net is as big as it needs to be to hit the targets that you need to hit. And it's all a numbers game that you've got to play. And so you want to do as many lead drops as you can, as many seminars as you can, as many lead activities as you can in the beginning. And eventually you'll get the momentum where hopefully you don't need to do them if you don't want to. But this period of time between end of AEP and pre OEP, entering into OEP is very critical. I would also be setting up my schedule for the first quarter for seminars, turning 65 educational seminars. This is a honey hole that you never know how long it will last. Again, as we've learned this year in the Medicare business, regulations can change from year to year, which makes things either easier or harder for you to find prospects and find activity. And so there's certain things right now that are really, really effective. And if you're not doing a Turning 65 seminar, despite the cost, to do one a month, to do one drop a month advertising, I do 3 to 5 days. I pick 1 week a month. So the third week of the month, the fourth week of the month, the second week of the month, whatever that is, pick it. You need to find locations that have a meeting room. Do not do a location that doesn't have a meeting room. I've done it several times where they say, hey, we can just put you in the back and this and that. It's always too noisy. It's always too much distractions. You don't want to do it that way. So you want to find a location of some type of restaurant or meeting facility, a VFW hall, something that you can get for $0 or cheap. Ideally $0, because we have to deal with a limit of $15 per person, tax and tip, room fee, all that's got to be included. So you don't want to go too heavy on the room fee and leave no room for the food, because food is part of the attractant. Some people just show up for the food, and it's your opportunity and your job to turn them from a plate licker into a permission to contact filler outer. Okay, you have to take that initiative. I promise you, how you do your seminar creates a residual effect on whether or not that person wants to work with you or not. So the first thing you got to do is get your game up and get your stuff buttoned up and tightened up, your knowledge in tune. You got to practice public speaking if you haven't done it, and you have to acknowledge to yourself that you might not be good at it for a little bit, and you're going to have to clunkily go through it. Right? Efficiency comes with practice and with repetitions and all of that. So you've really got to focus on that part of it. So again, I would do 1 week a month, pick a week, and then you want to do 3 to 5 days. For me personally, I do 5 days. So the week that I do it, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I try to have one of those scheduled every day every night that week. So I have a seminar a night that week, and I do them in different areas of the area. So I can cover a bigger territory. It makes me to where I know 1 week a month I'm going to be running around and I'm going to have late nights. It helps with the family planning and other stuff like that too. So I would do 1 week a month. You pick 3 to 5 days. Some people do Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Monday and Fridays are the harder days to fill and get people to show up to. People on Friday want to enter the weekend soon, and they want to go to a Medicare seminar. People on Mondays are recovering from the weekend and sometimes don't want to go. But I would do dinners during the week, and I would do Saturday brunches potentially as an option too. That's a good option. Now, the reason I do dinners is I'm targeting, for me personally, I want to target a certain individual. I want to target someone who's still working. I want to target someone who is a planner, and I want to target someone who wants information. So that I'm targeting a certain person. You can change your model completely, which will change your return results and attendance rates and things. But you could certainly go after the procrastinator group if you'd rather go after procrastinators. I prefer to go after the planners. I find they're easier to work with. The game, if you will, to me in turning 65 is getting there first so I can build a relationship first, right? There's many ways that you could put yourself in position. The cool part is you get to decide how you set this up, but I'm giving you what I would do, what I do, what I've found to be effective. Saturday brunches, again, I like Saturday brunches. Then you get an opportunity to get both the working crowd and the retired already crowd. And you do get, once in a while, you get someone who's already retired to show up for the dinners as well. But just know if you do lunchtime ones, really you're segmenting your market down to people that are only already retired. Because most people that are still working can't go to a middle of the day, middle of the week lunch seminar for Medicare. And even if they could, they wouldn't want to. And so you've got to create a situation that has a plan. And so that is there's nothing extra to the model. You want to keep developing relationships. So just because AEP is over doesn't mean you stop developing relationships with doctor offices and financial planners and bingo parlors and churches and anywhere that you can find someone that has a person of influence over the kind of people that you're after. So if you're trying to sell life insurance, I would find real estate. I would find real estate people for mortgage protection stuff. I would find lawyers that do estate planning and things like that, so you can be tied into life insurance on that side. Medicare, again, there's a lot of places. Think of where seniors are, and that's who you want to go create relationships with. And again, don't go in there trying to create a referral stream. Go in there trying to create a relationship, adding value to them first. Again, the example I gave earlier in this training would be if you're trying to develop, like for me personally, the one I'm doing right now, I need a good quality estate planning attorney because the one I had has retired, and the new one that he had replaced him, I'm not a fan of. So I'm in the search for a new one. The best way to do that is to compile a list of referrals that you have for them and bring that to the table first. If you come to the table with referrals first, they either accept the referrals and you create a referral partnership through inclination, or you go to someone else and find someone else that will do the referral partnership. So this period of time that you have for the next 2-3 weeks, it's really 2 weeks from now. Again, take a breath, take a break, recharge, take a vacation. Double check all your apps for AEP. Call every client, new, old, every one of them. You should call them all right now between the end of now and the end of the year. Explain what the process is. Explain and educate what the open enrollment period means so that they know that the buzzards aren't gone. If they're going to still get phone calls, they're still going to get people doing lead cards, they're still going to get postcards continuously. And teach and educate them what to look out for. Again, that's why I use a fish sticker. It helps them identify what to throw away, what to not. I also have a bunch of clients that once a quarter or so, they'll call me to stop by, and I'll go stop by while I'm in the area and spend 10 minutes with them and help them go through their mail pile of what to keep and what to throw away. Adding value in different ways is a creative way to increase your retention, increase your relationship, and ultimately, if you do it right, it'll increase your referral rate. Because if you're treating people the right way and you do that consistently and persistently, eventually they'll start to trust you more and more and more and more. And the more they trust you, the more they refer you. The more they refer you, and the more people that you help, and the more people that call them back and say, "Oh my gosh, thank you for sending me blank." They're getting a reward of dopamine for sending a referral to you if you do it correctly. So again, pre-AEP is important planning time. Post AEP is just as important because now you're post AEP, but you're also pre-OEP. And if you have any kind of Medicare Advantage book of business, this is the time not to rest completely. This is the time to prepare to defend what you have. You got to defend your nest now for the next 3 months, and you got to help other people that have been abandoned and orphaned creatively, because you're not allowed to market. You're not allowed to do that. So how you market is through education. You educate your current clients on what the rules are and let them tell people they know about it. And if those people they know want to make a change, they will ask them, well, who do you use? And you can creatively get business. So that's your tip number one, precursor to the Crush OEP bootcamp that I'm going to be doing. I'm doing in person in Denver, Colorado, January 16th and 17th. Lunch is included. We have a discounted hotel rate. It'll be at the Hilton Garden Inn by Denver International Airport. So it's easy to get to, easy to get in and out of. Okay. That's the in-person boot camp. I would highly recommend that because it's going to be 8 to 4 for 2 days. And it's not just about OEP. I call it the Crush OEP boot camp. This is really about crushing OEP, which leads to crushing SEP, which leads to crushing next AEP. If you want to crush next AEP, you really want to start planning now. And you start planning now by start planning how you're going to attack OEP, SEP, how you're going to increase your retention, how you're going to create marketing strategies that make you unique and individualistic in this market. You've got to separate yourself. You've got to have a unique experience, and you've got to have a unique brand. And so I would love to give you, in essence, the recipe for what I've used to create momentum in a very short period of time, a little over 4.5 years. I've been in the field running Medicare Peace of Mind, and I have the results to back it up. And I'm trying to help those that want to get to the next level, who are serious about becoming a Medicare machine. And when I say Medicare machine, it's not robotic. What it means is the system and processes that I've developed and created and have in play machine-like create referral activity that comes to me in a manner that most agents dream about. And I can tell you how to do that. Not everybody has the skill sets to pull it off, but everybody at least can improve what they're doing. I promise things that I will give you will improve what you are doing. I really encourage you, if you haven't already, to sign up. I have a virtual option as well on the 18th. So again, in person in Denver, Colorado, 16th, 17th. Option online for the virtual is only 4 hours instead of 16. So it's obviously a much more condensed version on the online version. I'm doing that on purpose because really, in reality, you and I face to face, I can help you learn more. It's just a fact of it. So that being said, hope you got something out of today's training. I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff to plug into you, the agent. Uh, Sign in, then the ticker, the website's right there, mmfactory.pro/crush OEP hyphen 2023. That's the website you can register for both in person and virtual. I will be doing coupon codes and other things. So check out Insurance Syndicate, check out Legacy Impact Group, check out a bunch of other groups. I will be posting coupon codes and other things and doing specials between now and the end of the month for early bird pricing and other stuff. So if you have things that you would like me to help you with, let me know. Otherwise, thanks for tuning in. I really enjoyed today, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. Happy Hanukkah, happy Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all the good stuff. And from my family to yours, hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.